my wife whispered. I didn't plan to fall in love with your best friend, but I planned everything after, and left me standing in the kitchen, holding a letter that shattered our marriage. There were 3 things on the kitchen table: a half-full glass of milk, her phone face down, and a sealed envelope with my name written on it in her handwriting, the kind she only used to sign birthday cards or condolence books. And she was standing there, already holding it, as if she had been waiting all day for me to walk through the door so she could hand it to me and watch me open it. But I did not open it. Instead, I stared at her. She did not blink. She did not speak. She simply extended the envelope slowly as if I was supposed to know what came next. Lars, she said in that soft, deliberate voice I had not heard since her mother died. Is there something you need to know? I did not take the envelope. No. Immediately my palms were sweating. My backpack was still slipping from one shoulder. It fell to the floor with a dull thud. Finally I asked, is it something bad? She did not answer, but the expression on her face, that dull, rehearsed calm, told me everything. Whatever was inside that envelope had already happened. It was not a warning. It was a confession. And the worst part is she had already packed a bag, not a suitcase, a bag, as if she did not yet know where she was going, only that it would not be here. And it was then that I realized. This was not the beginning of a conversation, it was the end of one. Still holding the envelope between her fingers, she said something I did not expect. I did not plan to fall in love with him, but I planned everything that came after. She did not cry. I did right there. Before even opening the letter, before asking who, before I could scream or demand an explanation or break down as I wanted to, I just cried. She left the envelope on the table and whispered, "You deserve the truth, but I do not think I can say it out loud." Then she left. She did not slam the door. She left. Without drama, she simply disappeared. And I stood there, dripping on the kitchen floor from the rain I had not noticed, staring at a piece of paper that was about to destroy everything. I thought I understood. I wish I had burned it instead, but I opened it, and, I swear to God, I did not even get past the second line when I felt my whole body turn cold. Because the man she confessed to loving was not who I thought. And that is just the beginning. The envelope trembled in my hands. Not because the paper was heavy or cold, but because I was. Every part of me resisted that moment. I do not even remember sitting down, but I did. Right in the creaky kitchen chair, the one we bought at that garage sale 3 years ago. Letty had insisted that we age it ourselves. Well, here we were, aged and falling apart. My fingers dug into the edge of the seal. It came off slowly, as if the universe was giving me one last chance to stop, to walk away, to pretend this was not happening. But I did not. I opened it. The first line said, "If you are reading this, it is because I could not tell you to your face." No greeting, no dear Lars, no I am sorry. Just that cold, objective sentence that instantly made me feel like a stranger in my own life. The second line, that is where the oxygen disappeared from the room. It is not Rylan. What? I reread it 3 times. My mind had already settled on it being Rylan, the smug coworker, the petty guy, the predictable office crush. But now she was telling me it was not even him. I did not feel relieved. I was terrified because that meant it was someone else. Someone I had not even considered. Someone worse, maybe someone closer. The letter did not jump to names. It twisted the knife slowly. It talked about feelings, about how people change, about how she had not felt seen in months, about how sometimes love dies silently, like a power outage, not an explosion, just a fading away. I wanted to scream, I wanted to rip the letter in half, but I could not stop reading, because the more I read, the more I realized this was not a letter, it was an autopsy. And then, finally, near the end, the name. And I swear I felt the blood freeze in my veins. Emery, she wrote. It is Emery. I blinked once, twice, and then I just laughed. A broken, bitter, twisted laugh that turned into a cough halfway through. Because Emery was not a coworker. Emery was not her boss. Emery was not even someone new. Emery was my oldest friend, my best man, my college roommate. The guy who would crash on our couch when he was too drunk to drive. The guy who helped us paint this house when we bought it. The guy who once cried with me because his girlfriend left him for someone else. He was family. And now he was this. I dropped the letter. I do not know why. Maybe because I needed to reread it later to confirm I was not hallucinating. Maybe because destroying it would not erase what I now knew. I stood up, stumbling actually, and wandered around the kitchen like a man looking for a trapdoor. I opened the fridge, closed it, turned on the faucet, turned it off. I had no idea what I was doing. My brain was spinning in 30 directions. She had said in the letter, it started after that weekend at the lake. And the worst part is, I was the one who invited him. The weekend at the lake was supposed to be a reset. Things had been tense between Letty and me for a while. Nothing explosive, just that slow, silent erosion that happens when you both stop trying at the same time. You do not notice it day to day, but then one afternoon she walks into the kitchen and forgets to tell you she loves you, and you do not even feel surprised. So I thought maybe if we got out of the city, out of the routine, maybe if we replaced the buzz of notifications and late work nights with fireflies, cheap wine, and bare feet on the dock, we would remember who we used to be. Emery was not part of the original plan. He had just gone through a bad breakup, the fourth that year, I think, and he texted me the day before saying he needed to get out of the city. I said, sure, without even asking Letty. That was my first mistake. When I told her, she gave me a tight smile and said, of course, he could use the company, but something was already wrong. Then I remember watching her repack her bag that night, carefully folding her clothes, choosing a different dress, and wondering why she changed the outfit she had already prepared. Now I know. Or maybe not. Maybe I am just rewriting the past in my head, trying to find clues that were not there. The cabin was not fancy, but it was quiet. Thick trees like secrets, a lake as smooth as glass. The kind of place where time moved slower and voices carried. Emery brought bourbon. Letty brought that book she never actually opened. I brought hope. The first night we drank on the porch. Emery told stories I had heard a dozen times, and Letty laughed as if she had not. I watched her laugh for too long, too loud. It made me feel uncomfortable, but I blamed it on the bourbon. She always got giggly when she drank, so I let it go. The next morning, I went into town for coffee and firewood. Alone. Emery was still sleeping. Letty said she had a headache. She kissed my cheek and told me not to hurry. I did not think anything of it. That was the second mistake. I was gone for 2 hours. Maybe less. When I got back, Emery was in the kitchen making eggs like he owned the place. Letty was gone. He said she had gone for a walk. I remember that detail because it was strange. She never walked without music, and her headphones were still on the counter. I asked him if she said where she was going. He shrugged without making eye contact. I felt it again. That flash of discomfort, that silent buzz behind my ribs, but I told myself I was being paranoid, because why would I suspect them? Later that afternoon, I saw her by the dock, alone, staring at the water as if she were trying to hypnotize herself into disappearing. I asked her if everything was okay. She smiled tightly, unconvincingly. I am just tired, Lars, was all she said. I did not push. I should have. That was the third mistake, because at some point between that morning and that evening a line had been crossed, a decision had been made, a seed had been planted, and I was too busy playing the part of the good husband to notice the way the world was shifting under my feet. She and Emery did not flirt. Not in front of me. There were no glances I could point to, no laughs that felt too intimate. It was worse than that. They were careful, deliberate, as if they were already protecting something. That was 6 months ago, and now here I was in my kitchen reading her letter, realizing that the weekend I thought would save our marriage was the weekend she decided to bury it. And it gets worse, because hidden at the bottom of that envelope was something else. A second note, but it was not addressed to me. It was addressed to him. It was tucked behind the one addressed to me. A second envelope, smaller, thinner, with a single word on it, Emery. Her handwriting again. But this one was not sealed. It had already been opened, not torn or folded, just slightly peeled back at the flap, as if someone had nervously peeked inside and thought better of it. I stared at it for a long time, as if just looking at it too intensely could trigger something irreversible. And maybe it already had. I should not have read it. I know, but when your wife drops 2 bombs on you in one night, and one of them is clearly labeled with the name of the man she betrayed you with, curiosity is not a choice, it is an instinct. I picked it up. My hands started shaking again, worse than before. I felt like I was trespassing on private property, even in my own kitchen. There were only a few lines, shorter than mine, colder. Not even a dear, straight to the point. We said we would not leave them shattered, but I could not keep lying to him. I stopped there, already nauseous. We said. That meant Emery had made promises too. Not just a mistake, not just a moment. It was a collaboration, a betrayal with boundaries and rules and whispered vows I never heard. I kept reading. I told him the truth. He deserved it. I do not know what will happen now, but you promised you would disappear if I did this, so disappear. I read that line over and over until my vision blurred. You promised you would disappear. So this was not just a confession letter, it was a threat. Or was it? Worse, it was a request for him to vanish, to completely erase himself from our lives, so she could come clean without having to deal with the consequences of having him around. It was not guilt that was driving her, it was strategy. And that is when I realized something chilling. Emery had not texted me in weeks. The last message he sent was about football. A casual "Are you watching the game?" Nothing strange. But that was 26 days ago. He had not liked my last 3 posts. He had not called. He had not even sent me his usual Sunday meme roundup. Not a word. And now I wondered, did he know? Did he see this coming? Did he run? I took out my phone and opened our messages. The typing bubble stared at me for too long. What was I supposed to say? You slept with my wife and then you ghosted us, both of us, like a coward. No, that was not me. I was not built for confrontation. I was built to stew on it, to absorb it, to turn it over until I drowned. So I did not text him. I did something worse. I opened his location. He had shared it with me months ago when he moved into his new apartment. I never turned it off. And now it said, location not found. Disappeared, just as she asked. My breath caught. Not blocked, not turned off, deleted, as if he had erased himself before I even opened the letter. As if the moment she handed me that envelope, he was already executing the plan. I sat back down with the letter still in my hand, my heart pounding against my ribs, as if it wanted to escape before the rest of me fell apart. I thought the worst was over, but then I realized the time. It was 3:01 in the morning, and Letty still was not back. She had been gone for hours. She said she needed to take a walk, but her car was gone. Her phone was still on the counter. And suddenly, I remembered something from her letter, something I had not registered at the time. I planned everything that came after. She did not just mean the romance. She meant what came next. And now I had no idea where she was or what she had planned for me. The first thing I did was check the closet. I do not know why. Maybe because I thought, irrationally, that if her coat was still hanging there, then she could not have gone far. But it was not. The green one with the fur-trimmed hood, the one she always wore when she wanted to clear her head. The one I had bought her 2 Christmases ago because I thought it made her look warm, even when she was cold. Then I checked the shoe rack. The white sneakers were missing, but her wallet was still on the console by the door, right where she always left it. Her ID, her credit cards, all intact. Even her keys were still on the hook. She had not driven, which meant the car was gone, but she was not the one who took it. I opened the front door and stepped outside, barefoot and shaking. The cold of the tiles still clinging to my skin. The driveway was completely empty. Not just her car, mine too. And that is when a knot tightened in my stomach hard enough to make me dizzy. There is no scenario in which both our cars are gone unless someone took them, unless she was not alone, unless someone picked her up. Unless. No, it was not that. I ran back inside, grabbed my phone, called her. Straight to voicemail again and again. Then I tried texting. Where are you? Please, just tell me you are okay, Letty. I am serious. You left me letters. You left me this mess. Do not disappear now. No reply. My fingers hovered over Emery's name in my contacts, but I did not press it. Something about that second letter. You promised you would disappear. It told me he would not answer, if he was even still in the state. I sat in the living room, surrounded by a silence so thick it felt like insulation. My head was spinning. I wanted to scream, to cry, to punch a wall, but I did none of that. I just stared at the coffee table where an old photo album was half open from the night before. The one we flipped through during a wine-soaked attempt to reconnect. I thought it had gone well. I guess I misread that too. I picked it up. Pages of smiles that now looked artificial. Birthdays, beach trips, the wedding, our honeymoon in Vermont where we got snowed in and ended up eating Pop-Tarts and playing cards by flashlight. I thought that memory meant something. Maybe to me it did. And then something else hit me. Her planner. Letty was old school. She wrote everything down. Appointments, work meetings, random ideas, even grocery lists. I ran to her desk and yanked open the drawer. There it was, the red leather book with gold corners. Still there, still full. I froze because there was something tucked between the pages. Something new. A one-way bus ticket. not a round trip, and it was not for her. It was in my name. Printed, paid for, dated for tomorrow morning. 7:40 a.m. From our city to a town I had never heard of. And on the back, in her handwriting, 2 words, please, go. Nothing else. No explanation, no clue, no signature, just that. Please go. I sat on the edge of her desk for what felt like an hour, holding that ticket as if it were a cursed artifact. Everything tonight, the letters, the cars, the silence, the lies, was pointing me towards something, but I did not know what. Was she trying to get rid of me, to protect me, to punish me? I did not know. All I knew was that I no longer had cars, or answers, or a wife at home. And something told me she was not just leaving me. She was running from something much bigger. I did not sleep a single minute. I sat on the living room floor with the bus ticket still in my hand. The back of it smudged from how many times I had turned it over in my palm. I kept wondering what she meant by please go. Go where? Why? And why now? If she wanted me gone, why give me a ticket instead of just leaving? Why leave her phone, her wallet, her keys? None of it made sense. By 5:30 in the morning, I had convinced myself that there was something I was missing. Something physical, real, tangible. Not just feelings and betrayal and whispers and letters, but a real event, a plan, a place. Because people do not undo their entire lives like this unless they are trying to make room for something new or hide something old. I started going through drawers, hers, mine, the bathroom closet, even the laundry hamper. I found nothing, just receipts, lip balm, loose change, socks, the kind of nothing that makes you feel like you are losing your mind. But then, under the bed, wedged between a dusty shoebox and an old winter blanket, I found something that made my blood run cold. A plain white hotel key card. Just a sticker on the back that said Wynn's Lodge, room 308. I did not recognize the name. I Googled it. A discreet place on the other side of town, mostly used by business travelers or couples looking to escape their lives. No reviews, no photos, just a location. And when I saw it on the map, my stomach turned. It was within walking distance of Emery's old apartment. I did not think. I just put on my shoes, grabbed my sweatshirt, and walked out into the darkness. Still no sign of Letty, no missed calls, no new texts. It was as if she had vanished into smoke. By the time I got to the Windsor Lodge, the sun was starting to come up, casting a dim gray light on the street. The place looked exactly as you would expect, a half-lit vacancy sign, a lobby that smelled of stale coffee and air freshener, a clerk who barely looked up from his crossword puzzle. I did not say a word to him, just walked past and up the stairs. Room 308. The door looked like any other. Scuffed, the numbers slightly crooked. I stood in front of it for a long time, wondering what I would find. Her, him, them, no one, a body. I slid the card. The green light blinked, and I opened the door. Empty. For a full 5 seconds, I felt real relief. No suitcase, no shoes, no movement, just silence. But then I saw the bed. It was neatly made, but the second pillow had an indent. The corner of the blanket had been turned down, and on the nightstand was something I recognized immediately. Her necklace, the silver one with the small leaf pendant. She wore it almost every day. She said it was her grandmother's. She never took it off, ever. And next to it, a room service receipt dated 2 nights ago. 2 main courses, 2 glasses of wine, 1 dessert, and scrawled on the bottom in the same sharp handwriting I had seen 100 times before. Hold the room one more night. He does not know yet. I sat on the edge of the bed, completely empty. That ticket had not been a parting gift. It was a distraction, a tool, something to get me out of the city long enough for her to wrap up whatever this was. And yet, she was gone. No sign of her in the room. No clothes, no charger, no suitcase, just that necklace. And one more thing, I almost missed it. A small folded note tucked into the Bible drawer under the nightstand. It was not a letter, this time, just 1 sentence in all caps. If you follow me, I will not come back. I leaned back against the wall and let the words sink in. She knew I would look. She had planned it. She knew I would find this room, the receipts, the necklace. Maybe she wanted me to. Maybe that was the final nail. Maybe this was her way of saying, do not even think about trying to fix this. But the worst part is I still did not know if she was running from something or towards someone. I did not leave the hotel room right away. I sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, turning that folded sentence over in my head. If you follow me, I will not come back. It sounded final, but also like a trap, as if she wanted to make sure I would think twice. And yet, she left clues. Why leave the necklace? Why leave the receipt with that note? Why leave the room key card buried under the bed where she knew I would find it if I was desperate enough? Because that is what this was. Not a trail, a test, and I was failing it. Or maybe I was falling right into her game. I could not tell the difference anymore. All I knew was that none of this felt like a normal affair, a normal betrayal, a normal heartbreak. This was a dismantling, a strategy. I got up and checked the bathroom. Nothing, no toothbrush, no hair ties, not even an empty shampoo bottle. Whoever had been here was long gone. I put the necklace in my pocket and closed the door behind me. In the hallway, I stopped by the vending machine, not because I was hungry, but because I did not know where to go. Then, my phone vibrated. A hidden number. I froze. I hesitated for 3 rings and then answered. I did not say anything at first. Neither did they, but I knew that silence. I knew the way she held her breath. "Letty," I said quietly. And then she whispered, "You were not supposed to find that room." Her voice was fragile, not broken, not angry, just small. "You left everything," I said. "The card, the receipt, your necklace." "I thought I had more time," she replied. "You were not supposed to start looking yet." I leaned against the wall and closed my eyes. "What are you doing, Letty? What is this?" Another pause. Then something I did not expect. "Did you read both letters?" "Yes," I said. "And I found the ticket. You told me to leave. I was trying to protect you." I laughed, dry and bitter. "From what? From the truth? From Emery? From watching my wife disappear without a trace while I try to figure out if I am the idiot or the pawn?" "It is bigger than him," she said. "You think this is about love, Lars? He was the beginning, not the end." "What does that mean?" "I cannot explain it over the phone." "Then tell me where you are." She did not answer. "Letty, tell me where you are." She exhaled shakily, and I thought I heard cars in the distance, the hiss of traffic. She was not in a building. She was outside, moving. "I am not safe," she said finally. "And if you keep following me, you will not be either." My blood ran cold. "What are you talking about?" "They know you have started looking. You were not supposed to. It was not part of the plan." "Who is they?" Silence again. Then, faintly, so faint I was not sure if I had imagined it. "The people Emery was involved with." I walked out of the hallway into the morning light. The sky was gray, the streets were wet with leftover rain, and suddenly I felt like every shadow was watching me. "Letty," I said, "this is not just an infidelity, is it?" "No," she said. And then the call disconnected. Just like that. No goodbye, no warning. It was just gone. I tried calling back immediately, but it rang once and then went dead, disconnected. I checked my call history. Nothing. It had already been erased, as if it had never happened. I stood there for minutes trying to make sense of what I had just heard. Her voice had been shaking, not with guilt, but with fear. Real fear. And then a thought hit me so hard I said it out loud. Emery was in trouble. Because whatever was happening here did not start with an affair. It started with something else. And my wife was running, not from love, but from a secret she was never meant to carry. I did not go home right away. After the call, I walked the streets for hours like a man without gravity. I did not know what scared me more, finding her again or not. That all of this could lead to something even darker than betrayal, something criminal, something irreversible. But I kept thinking about her voice. No, when she whispered my name, she said she had made a mistake. No, I was thinking of that last sentence. I am not safe. And if you keep following me, you will not be either. There was panic in her tone, yes, but also protection. She was not just pushing me away, she was shielding me. And for the first time I realized she was still trying to love me in the only way she knew how now that everything was shattered. I went back home. I tried to rest. I could not. And then that night a message came. No number, just a line through an encrypted app one did not know I had. "There is a storage unit in your name. Locker 417. Come tomorrow alone." No signature, no explanation. I did not tell anyone. I did not call the police. I did not even hesitate. The next morning I was there. It was a rundown facility on the edge of the industrial district, the kind of place where secrets go to wait. I gave them my ID. They pointed me towards the far corner of the lot. Locker 417. When I opened it, I did not find Letty, but I found her handwriting. A journal, A small black notebook with pages so full of words they spilled into the margins. It was not dated, not organized, but it was real. And it told me everything. About Emery, about how he had gotten involved with a private consulting firm, but one that operated in gray areas. Surveillance, intimidation, silent favors for high-powered clients. About how she had accidentally found out after seeing something on his laptop during a weekend get-together. About how he begged her to keep quiet. About how they were never supposed to fall in love, but it happened anyway and complicated everything. She had been scared, not just of what she had discovered, but of who else knew that she knew. And when she tried to pull away, she realized it was already too late. People had started watching her. They told her to stay quiet, to disappear for a while. Emery, in the end, had tried to protect her by taking the fall. He had left, not dead, but relocated, hidden, maybe by force, maybe by choice. The journal ended with a page written just for me. Lars, if you're reading this, it means you did not listen, and a part of me is glad you did not. I never wanted to lie to you. I just did not know how to keep you safe and tell you the truth at the same time. I did not leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I could not watch you get dragged into a mess you never asked for. But if you still believe in the version of me that chose you once, then meet me in a week where we celebrated our first anniversary. If you do not come, I will understand, but I will be there. My hands shook as I closed the notebook. A week passed like a year. And then, on that 7th day, I went to the quiet Italian restaurant, by the river, where we had dined under cheap lights and danced to a song neither of us knew the lyrics to. I arrived early, I waited. The minutes passed slowly, and then I saw her. She was wearing that same green coat, her hair pulled back just how I always liked it. She looked tired, but real alive. We did not say anything at first, just stood there, breathing the same air again. Then she walked towards me slowly, as if she did not want to break the moment too quickly, and said the words I did not know I needed to hear. I still love you. If you will let me come home, I will. I did not answer right away. I just took her hand, and this time I did not let go. Not because everything was fixed, not because everything made sense, but because sometimes when the storm finally passes, you do not ask why it came. You just hold on to the person who weathered it with you.